Picture this, a cold, dark cave, a frightened family huddled around a small fire. Outside, predators, disease, starvation. That is the story you have been told about ancient humans, and almost every part of it is wrong. For generations, scientists, textbooks, and Hollywood painted the same picture: primitive, dirty, stupid, barely surviving. We called them cavemen, as if caves were all they knew. We assumed their lives were defined by suffering. We assumed wrong. Here is what the actual evidence shows. Ancient humans, specifically our ancestors from 100,000 years ago, were burying their loved ones with flowers, red ochre, and personal belongings. That is not the behavior of an animal. That is grief. That is love. That is the very thing that makes us human. They were creating art on cave walls, not out of boredom, but as a form of communication, storytelling, and spiritual expression. Some of the oldest cave paintings discovered are over 60,000 years old, made by hands, remarkably similar to yours. They were not hiding in caves. They were living in structured communities, with social roles, shared responsibilities, and complex relationships. Archaeological discoveries from the last 30 years have completely shattered the old narrative. Ancient humans were trading rare materials across hundreds of miles. That requires language. That requires diplomacy. Studies of ancient skeletal remains show that injured individuals, people with broken bones, serious illness, were kept alive and cared for by their communities. Sometimes
for years. Think about what that means. An ancient human who could not hunt, could not gather, could not contribute, was still fed, sheltered, and protected by people who had almost nothing themselves. That is not primitive. That is deeply, profoundly human. The real story of ancient humans is not one of suffering and survival. It is a story of community, of creativity, of love, strong enough to survive a world far harsher than anything most of us will ever face. They did not just survive. They cared for each other. They created beauty. They wondered about the stars. If this changed the way you think about our ancestors, subscribe, because every week we are going to tear apart another lie you were taught and replace it with something far more extraordinary. The truth about ancient humans is just getting started.